Wait, so, okay. Can I ask again what you saw?
Yeah. You know, the reason why I probably haven't come out yet, because it's like so cringe, I did not see anything.
What?
I mean, I think y'all knew that.
What exactly you saw? Because you know, you alluded to what you saw, but like we just want to know, like, you know, what did you see?
I mean, thanks for asking that, but I have been told I cannot comment on it right now.
Brian just got here too.
Yeah.
Well, but what about, like, what was the reason that you wanted to get off so bad?
Again, can't speak on that right now, but I was distressed and I was getting off the plane no matter what. I just probably didn't need to make the scene that I made.
Right.
But I was getting off that plane for sure.
Right, and you stand by that, like, 100%, even now?
100%.
Yesterday, in a community post, I did tell my subscribers that I am taking a break. I'm taking a week off because overall I haven't been feeling well. I've been having this headache. My ears have been clogged, and doing YouTube while I'm not feeling well is not a good idea. Matter of fact, I do find myself getting burnt out faster if I'm not feeling it. I do have my daughter's birthday party coming up. She is turning 6, so I do have quite a few things coming up that I do have to put YouTube on a back burner. But that's only for about a week. After this week ends, I will start creating content again. But if there's any story that will stop me from what I'm doing to focus on said story to make me create a video right away, if there's any new information, it is the lady on the plane. Now, unfortunately, she has not responded to my request to interview her, even though I did submit a request through email. But it does look like another channel here, Pardon My Take, was able to ask her a few questions. And of course, one of the biggest questions when it comes to this story that anybody would probably ask her is, well, what did you see? So this YouTube channel that's interviewing her asked her, well, what did you see? And her response is, I did not see anything at all. It's embarrassing, but I did not see anything. They proceed to ask her, well, what made you so upset? Did the guy smell? Was it a fight over the armrest? And she says, no, I was in complete distress. I had to get off that plane, but I saw nothing. How does that make sense? She even comes off nervous and tense even answering that question. She clears her throat. It looks like she did not want to answer that question.
Yeah.
That's
Is it like
crazy.
an armrest? Like you guys are fighting over the armrest?
Yeah, what was the fight over?
This
Overhead space.
This is way less crazy, by the way. You're completely vindicated, like, because everyone obviously said...
just was in my feels, needed to get off that. I was highly distressed. Not a good look. It was not a good situation.
Yeah, so was it...
It was not a good look.
So was it armrest? Guy smelled bad?
I was thinking
No, I
reclined
was
seat.
actually in the aisle seat, and I like gave up my aisle seat because I'm, as you heard me say, I'm only 5'2". My little bratty ass voice, like, so sorry for that, by the way. So gave up. I was in the middle seat, and it was just, there was just a really bad energy, and I don't want to get into like all the details of that. Just as you know, it's ongoing, and this is probably not the smartest to get into that, but yeah.
And there's another important question that is never asked. What happened in the airport? Why did you say that plane will not make it to its destination? Why were you so upset in the airport if you saw nothing? Then she happens to mention how people believe that this is not her. The woman giving this interview is not the same woman that was on the plane. And then she happens to mention her voice, how her voice sounded different on the plane in the airport as well than it currently does here in the interview. How it comes off more bratty when we saw her on camera, but here she sounds a little bit more mature. She even looks more mature than she does on the plane. On the plane, she looked younger. To be honest, me personally, I don't think this looks like the same woman. I don't. The woman on the plane had softer features. And it's not from losing weight. I mean, even looking at her nose looks different. Her forehead looks different. Her face is more narrow and has more narrow features than the woman on the plane. And like I said, she even sounds different. Now, she does say in the interview how she stopped all social media as soon as she got home. Her name was trending, it was going viral. She stayed home, she did not want to post whatsoever. She deleted all her social media. But here's something that's actually bizarre. During the time she says she wasn't using social media, there were multiple Twitter posts coming out on July 13th from a Tiffany G. The reason why this is odd is because nobody knew her name on July 13th. Everybody on the internet was backmasking her photos. They were scouring the internet trying to get any information on this woman and what she saw. Matter of fact, nobody knew these Twitter posts existed on July 13th. It wasn't until August 7th that the media released her name and confirmed who she was that people were looking up her Twitter. And come to find out, this is when they found these Twitter posts going all the way back to July 13th. But then, out of nowhere, this Twitter account was deleted. These posts were deleted, and she creates a brand new Twitter account. She comes out and states, "I want you all to wake up. After the video came out, every account I had was locked. I've had people sit outside my home for days, follow me everywhere. Shapeshifters are real. I know there's more of you who've seen them. Wake up." July 14th, "There are things in this world that aren't real. We'll be on the news telling everyone we aren't alone. Wake up." On July 13th, she says, "Hi all, I'm working on getting an interview with a major news outlet this weekend to spread the word on what happened. I've contacted Fox News, NBC News, CBS News, and ABC, and having a hard time getting a response. Like my messages are not getting through." July 14th, she makes one strange and final tweet. "I've been contacted by someone at NASA who knows exactly what these things are and wants to discuss it in an interview with a few of his scientist co-workers. One worked on the Mars mission. Thank God there is good people in the world. Setting it up now. Wake up people." This would be the last tweet she would ever make, and she would disappear until her identity was revealed on August 7th by the media. These tweets, like I said, were not known prior to August 7th because this article here was made on August 8th. "There are things in this world that are not real." Airplane Karen Tiffany G doubles down on claims passengers were not real in deleted tweets. When this article came out, I wanted to see if it was a hoax or not, that this article was making it up. I did go on Twitter at the time. I looked up the account and it was real. Those tweets were real. And then sometime after, before she made her new Twitter account, this Twitter, like I said, was deleted. All these tweets were deleted unless you had a screenshot. The article states, "It's unclear whether this meeting came to fruition, but one thing is certain. Her deranged tweets, much unlike that MFer on the plane, sure as hell are real." Matter of fact, what's even more bizarre is that she never deleted this Twitter. Twitter came out and suspended her account, stating that she violated X rules. If this was a hoax account, which I do not believe it was, because it does look like there is a photo of her on this account that does resemble her during that time. Like I said, nobody could find another picture of this woman, and nobody knew who this woman was. So if this was a hoax account trying to garner views, why didn't they just continue on with the hoax? Why do it on the 13th and the 14th and then just stop altogether? This account was indeed active when I saw it on August 8th, but a couple days after August 8th, it was suspended. So she had more than enough time to keep this hoax going between July 14th and after August 8th. But again, she just completely stops tweeting after this proposed meeting with NASA. There are people that are stating that she is doing this for views and clout, and I really don't think so. The reason why I'm saying that is between her identity being revealed on August 8th and today, she really hasn't did much. She's only given a few interviews here and there, one where TMZ caught her off guard and this interview here. But it's not like she's writing a book or she's doing all these interviews with big networks and things like that. I really don't think she's doing this for any type of clout. If she was doing this for views and clout, she would just build up the whole paranormal aspect, the whole reptilian shapeshifter aspect. She could really keep this going and make it a lot more interesting than just coming out and saying, "Well, I didn't see anything. That's that." So she herself has not really made this story more interesting than what it currently is. She has been really hush-hush about what she saw, what happened on that flight, and maybe that is what makes this more interesting. There are still questions to be had, like why hasn't the MFer, who is not real, why has he not spoken out? On the police report, it never states that the police ever spoke to this man or his family. Why were the passengers so nonchalant as to what was taking place? There was even one passenger who had these dark shades on, paid her no attention whatsoever. He just had this dead stare on his face, just looking forward. What's even more bizarre is that none of these passengers who are acting very nonchalant went to the news and media, said, "This is what I saw. I'm giving my account." This major story in the news, which I'm sure they could have sold their story, nobody spoke out, just like the MFer on that flight. Then on top of everything else, just days prior to her disturbance on this flight, we have Tom Cowling, who had a disturbance on his flight where he also saw something and he was running to tell the pilots. But then he completely disappeared. Nobody can find this man. He does have a Twitter that he was once active on, but since that incident, he has not made any posts or given any updates. So just because she says she doesn't see anything, it doesn't explain her behavior in the airport. It also doesn't explain how she's not blacklisted from flying. She causes great disturbance. Her name is everywhere in the media when it comes to planes. Yet only a couple months later, she is seen once again flying. So there are a lot of oddities to this story still, and when they want to hush a person up, they will make sure they do hush up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.